Hi there. It's that time of year again, and it's time to start thinking about autumn and winter bedding, and also getting some of your spring flowering bulbs into the ground now that the season has definitely changed. You find me just about to plant my hanging basket. Now, those of you that follow along normally will know that I normally do my hanging baskets twice a year. This is a tiny little one. This is just a 15-inch across basket, complete with a coir lining. Now, many of you message with these videos and ask whether it's possible for you to use a plastic bin liner or some black plastic as a liner to your basket. And if that's all you've got to hand, you don't want to spend any more money, yes, of course you can, but it's really not the best substance to be lining your hanging baskets with. Unfortunately, much as it holds an awful lot of water, it doesn't actually breathe at all, and your hanging basket can actually starve of oxygen. So wherever possible, try and use one of these pre-formed coir linings. If you wanted to, you can obviously still get hold of moss, or you can harvest that yourself, or you can use wool as well. Saying that you don't want to be putting a piece of plastic or lining the basket with plastic, it's always best to pop a little bit of plastic into the bottom of these liners. This just simply slows down the moisture just a little and stops you ending up with a horrible soggy mess at the bottom. So all I've done is then just pop the plastic into the bottom of the basket just there. Now, in my hanging baskets, I always like to mix things up and really plant a huge array of different plants. This is going to be no exception. I've chosen for the autumn and winter season this wonderful little euonymus. This one is Euonymus fortunei, green and white variegated. That's going to go in the center of my basket. I've then chosen this adorable little viola. For colour right now, because we obviously want this to look as good for as long as possible, I've chosen a cyclamen. These, depending on what the weather does, will actually flower all the way through the winter. However, if it's particularly cold and really wet, these will get frosted off and they'll go back to the corm and may not actually produce any more flowers until this time next year. So for a little bit of colour now, one of the bedding cyclamen. I've then got an array of polyanthus. There's no flower on these at the moment, but I've got a white, I've got a pink, I've got a blue, and I'm also going to be adding a forget-me-not, otherwise known as mitosis, and a white bellis, which is a member of the daisy family. This is a double variety producing really highly textured double pink flowers. So I've got an array of spring bedding. These are going to give me colours all the way through the winter, and of course all the way through into the spring months, probably all the way through until about April time. So there's plenty of colour there. I'm also going to be pairing that with some Vanguard crocuses. These have been ordered from Farmer Gracie. These are ready to go in. Don't be afraid of planting a few bulbs into your hanging baskets. So these are the Vanguard crocuses from Farmer Gracie. Now, I believe off the top of my head, these are bright or pale blue, violet, white, blue. Yes, I was right. I'm also going to be doing some violet tulips. These are new this year from Farmer Gracie, so I'm also going to be popping some of these in as well. These bulbs are relatively tiny. I'll show you these. These are relatively small. These are a dwarf tulip, off the top of my head, reaching about 20 centimeters, about 8 inches, so between 6 and 8 inches. So I'm also going to be popping 10 of these in. So don't be afraid of popping a few bulbs into your baskets as well, to give you plenty of colour, especially towards February, March and April. Make sure wherever possible you choose small varieties, because you want to make sure that they don't get too high and too leggy. Obviously, with a thatch like we are here, we don't have a huge amount of different distance between the bottom of the thatch and where the hanging basket actually hangs. So I want to keep those varieties quite small. So about 6 to 8 inches is absolutely perfect for those. Right, I'm going to go ahead and now plant this basket. So I'm going to move this camera down so you can actually see what I'm doing. Hopefully this is not going to fall over. Let's just add some weight to the tripod while we do that. Right, there we go, that's it. We are now going to pop all of this into our hanging basket. So you can see here that I've already put a plastic liner into the bottom. That is going to stop all of the moisture just heading straight through the basket and everything ending up in a big soggy mess. I'm going to add a really nice amount of multi-purpose compost. probably a little bit too much there because I forgot I've got to get my bulbs in first. So first of all, going round the outside, I'm going to pop in my Vanguard tulips. So these are purchased through Farmer Gracie. These are a lovely violet blue. Look at the quality of the size of those bulbs, they're really, really lovely. Obviously, if you're planting bulbs, make sure you place the rooted side down. Normally on most bulbs, the flat side. These are obviously showing me very distinctively which way is up. They're already starting to grow, so I'm going to pop some Vanguard tulips in there first, maybe just 5, and then I'm going to work on my Violette tulips. Again, these are once again sourced through Farmer Gracie. These are a small variety, reaching around 20 centimeters tall, and I'm just going to put 5 of those in there as well, all the way around the outside of the basket. There we go. Right, I'm going to pop the last couple of tulips back in the bag so I don't actually lose those, and then I'm going to fill this basket up with multi-purpose compost. Don't want to fill it too high, we want to leave a little edge around the actual basket themselves. I've left that planting pocket in the center with no bulbs underneath it because obviously the largest thing that's going to go in here is this lovely little euonymus, which just say is going to occupy the middle of the basket. That's going straight in the middle there, and I'm then free to plant my other little bits and pieces around the outside. So I'm going to mix this all up again like I would normally do. Careful not to plant too deeply because you don't want to disturb the bulbs below. Going in there with a polyanthus first, then next to that the mitosis, which is the forget-me-not. Absolutely adore a forget-me-not, and because we have a very old style cottage here, the forget-me-not works as a really good cottage garden plant as well. So that's going in there. Next we're going to go back to another polyanthus. Doesn't matter which color it is, to be honest, I have no idea which color each one of these is. One is pink, one is blue, and one is white, so that's the polyanthus in. Again, something different going in next to that. Let's go in next with the little bellis, which is the double daisy. Next to that, we'll squeeze 2 more in. I think we should certainly get this lovely little cyclamen in. That's going to give us a really nice shot of colour right now. Incidentally, these are really, really highly scented, very sweetly scented cyclamen. So that one's gone wedged in there, and I think last but by no means least, I'm going to wedge this little viola in here. This is a violet, a white and blue one, cream and blue one, which is really, really nice. That is my basket done. Give it a good firm down. Make sure that you compact everything around the basket, making sure that the liner is up over the top of the compost and the compost is not spilling out of the actual basket itself. For me, this euonymus is going to be a little bit on the leggy side, so I'm just going to prune out some of the longer growth. That will obviously re-sprout and grow, so I'm just going to tidy that one back out of the way, and my basket is ready to go up, underplanted with those wonderful little Dutch tulips, Dutch crocus, and the tulips that will give me plenty of colour for the weeks and months ahead. But my basket is ready to redisplay and go back out once it's had a thoroughly good water. Best of luck planting your autumn bulbs in your hanging baskets. It's not too late to start thinking about ordering these things and get these things sorted out. I will see you all again very soon. Take care now. Bye bye.